So, Susan, here's my test. I'm a native New Yorker. You're a native New Yorker?
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Okay. Aside from JFK Airport, what's the name of the other airport?
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia.
Yeah.
LaGuardia.
And I get coffee on the way to LaGuardia.
And how do you say what we drink in that
Water.
cup? Water. And butter. Well, welcome,
Soda.
Susan. Why don't you do a
Thank
quick
you.
introduction? Tell us who you are and who do you work for?
Cool. I'm Suzan Vulaj. I'm the SVP of our global talent acquisition team at NBCUniversal. I'm based in New York at our beautiful 30 Rock iconic building.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Who's a cool celebrity you ran into in 30 Rock?
Oh, I think Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, he slapped me high five.
Is he?
Very
He's
excited.
like he is like what you see on TV.
He's so funny.
He hangs out with like everybody.
Yeah, he's very cool.
He's a real. So we were talking before. Susan was asking me how I got into recruiting. I shared my story, but previously I worked at SiriusXM and big entertainment hub.
Oh, yeah.
And we always have these funny stories internally about who you run into in the bathroom.
Oh.
And I have a whole Kogan story I'll save for another time. But we're here at Unleash, and what brings you here, and what are you hoping to get out of the couple days here?
Yeah, it's a good question. This is my first time at Unleash, so I'm excited. I always like to try out new conferences and see if they're worth the ROI. So it's exciting to be here. Lots of energy, lots of vendors. Oh my God, I don't know where to start.
You're getting pitched right and left. It's like
I'm avoiding eye contact.
Wait, you probably know this, but here's a pro move.
Oh, everyone's like staring down. I'm like,
my eyes are up here, Susan, not my badge.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about first of all, how long you've been with NBCU for?
A little over 8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've been running the global team for about 5 years now.
Okay.
So
you've been part of the evolution. You've been part of this technology evolution. And when it comes to how many folks are underneath you, direct reports?
a little over 100 today.
Wow. And how many of them are pure recruiters?
Oh, I would say about 60 of them.
That's fantastic. In your opinion, when you're hiring a recruiter, what are those core skill sets and traits that you're looking? What makes a good recruiter? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun with this. I'm a recruiter. You're interviewing me. What do you want to know?
Yeah. So there are a couple of things. One, the relationship building is really important, right? Like the tools we can teach you how to use, like how to source and how to use the ATS and stuff like that. But you have to be able to have good relationships with people. You have to be a good influencer. You have to be able to speak articulately in front of people. To a hiring manager, orange. No, we got a heavy New York accent. I think you need to be a natural brand ambassador. You need to know how to listen. As a recruiter, you need to be listening more, speaking less.
Active listening.
Even though I think recruiters like to talk a lot. But
especially podcast recruiters. Forget it. Forget about it.
And your guests too. So we need to learn how to listen, right? I think that those are the big ones. And then be an advisor, right? Like one thing I tell my recruiters is that we own the process, right? So if we're sitting here waiting for a hiring manager to ask us what's going on or where we are with a rec or a candidate, then we're not doing a good enough job.
Take agency of it.
Yeah, exactly. So the recruiter's got to own what they're doing. They need to step up. They need to show up with a lot of confidence and tell people what to do.
Two things I want to dig into what you just said. First of all, fantastic. Number one, and I say this all the time, your recruiter in any organization is the first touch point of a candidate that's potentially going to be an employee. Their job is to tell the brand story.
Yep.
Right? They're the first touch point. They have to be on brand. They have to tell the story the right way. The second part is really taking agency of it and not just waiting, and being able to do that in a professional, respectful, diplomatic way. Because listen, at the end of the day, and I hate to say this, in a lot of companies, when I think hiring should be the number one priority, it's not, because people are doing their day to day and it comes down from the top. So you as a leader, Susan, how do you talk to hiring managers? Like, listen, we have these 3 open roles on your team. Susan, Mary, John, and Jane are working double time, overtime. There's a possibility if we don't fill this role quickly that they may leave.
Yeah, sure.
How do you handle those conversations?
Yeah.
And how do you drive that it's important?
Everybody's a recruiter. Everybody's got to be engaged. We need our hiring managers involved in the process. And I think spending more time at the beginning of the process is what's going to help them commit and be engaged. And that's where a good recruiter sets the expectations of like, hey, I'm going to do all these things for you, but I need you to meet me halfway. I need you to show up. I need you to respond to my emails or my text messages.
Feedback.
Yeah, give me feedback. And the more direction you give me, the better my search will be. So I think from the get-go, we need to get everybody aligned and on the same page. And that's so key. I think recruiters who do like a 20-minute, kickoff call, like what are you really getting out of it? I think you really need to be thorough and spend the time with them ahead of time.
Are you and the team using any technology to help with any of these pieces you just spoke about?
Well, we implemented Smart Recruiters, which is our ATS, about 3 years ago, and we're very happy with the tool. So we're working very closely with them to continue to build and enhance their product for us. What we don't want to do is buy 10 tools to sit on top of our ATS.
You don't want that.
No, no. We need recruiters to be open-minded and ready for all the change that is going to come. And they just got to put the seatbelt on.
How do you work with the team for adaptability with all this AI tech that's out there right now, where it's not, where they don't fear it's going to take their job?
So we have a number of, we have recruiters that are, in terms of their experience, all over the place. We have people with just a couple of years of experience, and then people who've been recruiting for 30 years. Everybody's looking at AI differently. You have a
Very
different comfortable level. Yeah. So we realize and we understand that some people are scared to lose their jobs. And what we're doing is, the message is, we want it to help you so that you could spend time doing all the value stuff that you enjoy doing as a recruiter.
Thank you.
Nobody loves being bogged down by clicking through resumes and pushing people in the approval process.
No.
You know, like, that's not fun. What's fun is like talking to candidates, reaching out to them, the chase, the representing them to hiring managers. Like, that's what's exciting and energetic about being a recruiter. Not all this like manual tactical stuff.
Right.
So an AI tool is going to come in to help you. What we're doing this year is a little bit different. We're calling it First Look, where we're bringing in the recruiters much earlier on in the process when we're about to implement some change or do some enhancements, so that they could see sort of how the sausage is made behind the curtains, be a part of the influencing of the roadmap, and then help spread the word to the other recruiters. And then that's one. And the second thing we're doing is we're doing smaller group trainings. So typically we do like big trainings, everybody on a virtual call. Yeah. Like, we're going to lecture you and talk to you about why this is going to save you time and make you more productive. And it's really good training and beautiful decks and very thought out and very engaging, because our team is very dispersed globally. But this year we're going to take a different approach, because we understand that there are a lot of feelings, and we're going to do team by team. We're going to train them. So that way we get people in a safe space that they're used to with their leader in the room, so that they can ask questions, they could debate, they could poke holes.
Make it a safe space to talk about.
Yeah. We need, because we have a lot of feelings. And so we need people to feel comfortable.
Us recruiters have a lot of feelings.
Yeah. And opinions.
Well, what's so interesting too, and I'm sure you're seeing this as an ancillary benefit, is retention within your own team. When you're empowering the team to feel that they have more of a voice and a say, and that their voice is also being heard and listened
to. It matters.
And their voice matters. These are the folks on the front lines. And you have to give them that platform. So question for you, as much as you're open to sharing. So when it comes to sourcing and a new role gets opened up in the organization, and financial approval and yada, yada, all that fun stuff, are you always looking first, not just internally, but also at previous applicants? How does that work?
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you looking for some low-hanging fruit?
Yeah, we were just talking today in one of the roundtables that we were at, that a lot of TA organizations are kind of going back to old school recruiting.
How so?
Who do you know? Old school recruiting back in the day when I was a recruiter.
Who do you know? Who do you got? Who do you got?
You know? Who's in your, in your Rolodex, in a sense? Like, who are you keeping warm, right? Because I think almost every company today is getting this avalanche of applicants coming in. I mean, recruiters
can't even imagine the volume between fraudulent applications, between AI, where all these AI products out there are literally taking candidates and they're spraying and praying them to everything that's fringe relevant.
Yeah. So it's a lot, and it's bogging down recruiters, and then it's not helping with their confidence, and they feel like, they can't manage 15 recs, which they need to be able to, so it's a lot there. So it's a little bit going back to the old school ways of like, who was your silver medalist? Who is being referred to you? Who do you know in the market? Who did you meet at a networking event, et cetera, versus going through a rec that has 8,000 applicants,
Right, and just going manual. So this is an interesting one for recruiters out there. How a recruiter should utilize these tools to, first and foremost, listen, there's a lot of crap that's being applied. And I'm calling it crap because it is crap. These are AI, fraudulent, and let's call it what it is. And I'm being very gentle when I say this. I'm going to say this nicely, completely unqualified candidates applying for roles.
Totally.
We are not, and again, I talk about this radical candor, folks. We are not in a time and place in this market where companies have the bandwidth to look at a fringe candidate who has the aptitude. I bet you're smart enough to do it. One of those, I know you could do it, but here's the deal. There's so many good candidates that have what we're looking for, and you have to look at that.
It's really
hard.
So
if we could utilize these tools, Susan, to shortlist, you have to do it, because you're going to otherwise overburden your recruiters.
Totally.
It's a tough world out there. So how do you manage your recruiters' emotions? We don't really talk about this enough.
How do we?
Because let's talk about it. We're in the no business. As much as we hate to say it, We're
Yeah,
saying,
we say no to 99% of the people that we talk to.
and people have to realize that's usually
Yeah.
in one open role
Yeah.
for 1,000
hard.
candidates. How do you manage the mindset of no?
Where we tell candidates no.
No, how do you manage your recruiter's mindset? Because
Oh,
saying no every day could be tough.
yeah, it's tough, but it is part of the job, right? And we want to make sure
It's like a firefighter. You got to put out fires.
Yeah, like it's part of the role. It's like what we pay you to do, you know, like you, but I do see that recruiters, and I saw it myself when I was recruiting, get very invested in candidates.
Yeah, you form it because that's a good recruiter.
Right. And so they get really attached to the candidate and they hang on to that one really good positive thought, you know, or that positive candidate. And when that person gets hired, I think it totally outweighs all the negative that we have to go through. But again, it doesn't mean that these people are bad candidates. It just means that they're not a fit for this role. And so I think that the more we engage and keep warm and talk to people, the better it is.
So what is your experience? What are some best practices for rejected candidates? Do you like link them to other open jobs with NBCU?
Yeah,
and then using any tech that, like, I've seen that some cool tech where it's like, it's matching the rejected candidates within the system if you want to. Some people just got to reject. But the ones that, you know what? Mark was so good, but we had to go with Suzan here.
Yeah.
What else is Mark good for?
So there are a couple things that we do. One is something called for your consideration. And we don't do it across the whole TA team. We do it in pockets. It's really started in our news business where the recruiters would pitch to each other a candidate for their consideration. So they would come to like a staff meeting and they would talk about their silver medalist. I like Adam. Adam's great. Here's his background, et cetera. Like 1 minute.
We did that on the agency side. I like that.
So we copied your idea, I guess. And then, so then the recruiters would be like, well, I have a job that might be a fit. And so they end up sharing with each other. So we started there with just the recruiters. And then we actually took it up a level where now we do it to hiring managers that don't have jobs open. We start to pitch them candidates in the market that they should take a look at. And they do exploratory interviews.
You're pipelining with them.
Yeah, exactly. With them, like in this, setting, it's 30 minutes an hour, and we do that.
I love this idea because one of the things that I teach candidates is how to reach out and do an explore. All right, I'm sure you get, I can't even imagine your inbox and your connection request.
My inbox is good, but my LinkedIn.
I'm talking about your LinkedIn inbox.
Really bad.
So what type of message breaks through and gets your attention? Aside from, would you like to join me on the podcast? What message from a candidate?
The first 5 words have to be very important for me.
But what's going to hit? What's going to slap on those first 5 words?
Like, you got to be very specific about what you're looking for. I mean,
Hi, Suzan, do you have a job for me?
Yeah, I don't want to knock people because people are really trying and they're trying to be creative, and I want to encourage them to keep looking. But if it's like, hi, my name is Adam. I'm really interested in marketing jobs at your company. Do you have some time to talk? I can't. You
just don't have the time of the day.
But if you say, hey, Suzan, I love what you guys do at NBCUniversal. I applied to this job. I am more inclined to take that resume and then send it over to that candidate and say, hey, check this person out. I don't know.
Because you know what? You're going to click on their profile. You're going to click on the profile.
Yeah.
Are you of the school of thought that us good recruiters could look at a background in 6 seconds and say yay or nay?
I say about 10 seconds. 6 is a little fast, but yeah.
Yeah, I could do it in about 10 because we have pattern recognition. Our eyeballs are trained for. First of all, when I do it, I don't look at the name.
Yeah, you go straight to the experience.
I go straight to the most recent 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And I could tell level, relevance, skill set to that particular role.
Yeah.
And a lot of candidates like, oh, you're not spending enough time. It's just, we can't.
Not when we have 8,000 people that apply to a job. No, unfortunately, we can't.
Okay, so
we can't. So resume is really, really, really important.
What's the coolest thing walking around this conference that you've seen technology-wise? Like the best application of AI that was like, oh my God, and you could give flowers if you wanted, but you don't have to name anybody.
Yeah, I didn't spend enough time with each vendor. Yeah, I could just spend days going vendor by vendor, but we use SAP SuccessFactors and Smart Recruiters. So obviously we're big fans of theirs, What
about conversation-wise? What have you heard that's been an aha moment for you during a panel?
We saw the 2 keynotes today that were really interesting. I think the woman talking about all the different types of failure was really interesting, especially the intellectual one, because we don't want to focus on failure. I think we want to focus on the positives and the successes, right? But we can learn a lot from the failure. So I think I took a lot back there. And I thought the second guy, Peter, I think his name was actually very funny. And it's just mind blowing how quick the world is changing, and we've got to be ready. There's a GIF I send to my leadership team all the time of like a person putting on their seatbelt. And I'm like, buckle up. Like, we got to be ready for this ride.
Got to be ready for this road. I will leave you with one of my current kind of sound bites that I workshop myself. And I don't know if I can take full ownership for it, but I'm going to.
Okay.
I've been really thinking about this idea of reframing failures as experiments.
Yep.
And I think about that personally and professionally and saying, you know what? I tried something, but if you don't learn from it, it's a failure. But if you're learning something, it's an experiment. Leave all job seekers out there with one really, really good golden piece of advice. Those struggling in their search right now.
Let's see. One of my big pieces of advice I give everybody is if you don't ask, you don't get. So
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, there you go.
Suzan, thank you so much for joining us.
you.
Where could folks connect? Where could they learn more?
LinkedIn, connect with me there. Happy to share.
Connect with her on LinkedIn. Yes.
Sure.
We will link it up in the show notes. Thank you, Suzan.
Awesome. Thank you so
I
much.
appreciate you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.